been back 4 weeks, and everyone's back in. The Lions boys joined us yesterday, so yeah, it's a pretty good vibe. You know, the guys are training really well, and you know, looking forward to the upcoming challenges. There's not too many things wrong with the place, to be honest. It's not a matter of cracking the whip. There's a little bit of adjustment that we've had to make with some of the adjustments in our game that we want to look at moving forward. But by and large, the culture's very good. The guys are good fellas who want to be good, who want to, you know, do the shirt justice. So that makes it significantly easier. Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've been a little bit reliant on the first couple of weeks on the academy guys and the next tier of the squad. So to have those senior guys around is a huge boost for everybody. It was a frustrating tour for some of them. It was a positive experience for others. So you know, they're very much back with their Leinster shirt on and you know, trying to get themselves back in the best physical shape to be playing as soon as possible. Yeah, we had a day at Carlton House with all the coaches a couple of weeks ago. Just Joe trying to get everyone on the same page and to make sure that there is that really high level of communication across the provinces from the IRFU. So you know, I think it'll be a positive relationship. You know, it's certainly shaping up to be that way, and hopefully we can all work together for the best of both parties. The guys have been incredibly positive in adjusting to change that goes with new people, and they're very, very positive about any improvements that we can make and trying to get better. And hopefully that, working with Joe at the national level, there'll be a better level of integration through the whole program. At the top end, it's always challenging. The margins are so tiny in Europe and in the Rabo. I mean, we need to try and get better. We need to, you know, develop that next tier of guys to fill the voids that have been left by some really quality players. That is going to be an ongoing issue for the group. If you look at the senior guys that will be moving on over the next 12-24 months, there's going to be some significant challenges in experience, if nothing else. So it's trying to make sure that next tier have the necessary skills, understand the standard that goes with wearing the Leinster shirt. At the top end, it's always challenging. The margins are so tiny in Europe and in the Rabo. I mean, we need to try and get better. We need to, you know, develop that next tier of guys to fill the voids that have been left by some really quality players. That is going to be an ongoing issue for the group. If you look at the senior guys that will be moving on over the next 12-24 months, there's going to be some significant challenges in experience, if nothing else. So it's trying to make sure that next tier have the necessary skills, understand the standard that goes with wearing the Leinster shirt. Well, that's the nature of professional sport, isn't it? You can't legislate, you can't manage the injury toll. You can try and put in as best systems as you can to cover those guys, but you can't replace guys who have played 50, 60, 70 tests overnight. You know, the academy is doing an incredible job. The school system in Dublin and Leinster does a fantastic job in producing quality players. Now, there's a learning curve that goes with that. Those guys need to play Rabo. They need to be exposed to Heineken Cup in order to get better. Now, sometimes you lose in that development curve. Sometimes you win, and you know, hopefully, fingers crossed, we won't have the same injury toll that we had last year. And if you do, you just got to, you know, do your best. It's probably more about maximising the skill set you've got in the group, and that hasn't moved significantly. So I would imagine that the brand of rugby, the style of rugby that we play, will be pretty similar to what we've played over the last 3 or 4 years, because that is maximising the strengths of the group. If the strength of the group moves and there is an evolution in that process, well, then we need to adapt and adjust to that to get the best out of whatever guys we've got in our group. So, you know, the answer is probably not. I mean, as we said before, there's always a certain amount of adjustment that goes with a new system. A lot of the skill set isn't going to move that much. A lot of the things that have been in place, that have been successful, will stay in place. So, you know, patience is important, but at the same time, we'll be trying to win the first game. You know, we aren't certainly looking on building into the season. We need to make sure that we start in the right place attitudinally against Scarlets over there Friday night in a couple of weeks. I would be pretty pretty honest and robust in my approach, I would imagine. You know, I would be, some of my stronger skill sets would be in the analysis side of things, in creating a game plan that suits our guys, that maximises the advantages that we have in our group, re the opportunities in the opposition. And you know, I think one thing that this place has done over the last 5 or 6 seasons, with Michael in charge and then Joe, has set a pretty good standard, and everybody understands what that standard is, and I'll be looking to drive those standards, improve those little bits of 1%ers around the periphery, so that we maintain that really high standard of performance that Leinster has been renowned for over the last 4, 5, 6 years. I don't think it's a disadvantage. I've been lucky enough to be at Leicester, who have a very similar culture in that regard, and it's something that drives everyone to be better. If the expectation is really, really high, everybody understands that, and everybody has to aspire to that. And I think if managed right, is a huge positive. I think we're in a really good place with Brian, in the sense that he's still in the environment, he's still going to be playing for us, but if he manages playing time, there is really good scope for us to look at the succession plan of what Leinster Ireland do beyond Brian O'Driscoll, which is a huge positive. From my end, I'd much prefer to have him in the environment to do that than have him out of the environment and be, you know, going in at the deep end without the quality of Brian in the group. And you know, we won't play him to death. We will try and get him right and try and get the best bang for our buck in that regard.
And just on, you mentioned about the void left by some of the players, I suppose the most notable one being Johnny Sexton. Are you happy that Ian Madigan has all the tools and the skill and talent to fill that void that he's left?
Yeah, I think Ian showed towards the back end of last year that he had developed into a very, very good player at Heineken Cup level, and on the end of season tour he was one of the best players, talking to the coaching group there. So, you know, he will do a really good job for us there. Jimmy Gopeth is a very, very good professional as well, who's been around the traps, who knows the game, who will step in there and do a job for us as well. So, you know, it's different, you know, post Johnny, it's different post Issa, but, you know, at the end of the day, those blokes in the group will get opportunities to be the next big thing. That's the challenge for Ian. You know, he has been in the group for a long time. He hasn't played a lot of rugby in the 10 shirt for Leinster because Johnny's been here and done such a fantastic job. But I mean, if we think back 4 or 5 years, who was Johnny Sexton? You know, he was second fiddle to, you know, a foreigner. He was not playing a lot of rugby, and, you know, when he took his opportunity, he went from strength to strength. Now, hopefully, Ian can do that. You know, he certainly showed that he has the temperament and the ability to do that. Now he has to back that up, second season, third season, and continue on.
And just about Brian there, obviously he's come back, obviously disappointing the way the Lions ended for him. How have you found his attitude since he's come back? And I know he probably just came back in on Monday there. Yeah,
really positive. You know, he doesn't want that to be his legacy. He wants to, you know, he wants to perform for us. He wants to perform for Ireland, and, you know, I think he showed over the years that he's never been found wanting if there's been a challenge thrown his way, and I'm sure he'll be looking to finish with a really big season on both in the Leinster shirt and the national shirt.